So when I was in college taking philosophy classes, I studied a lot of Plato. This is my complete works of Plato, and I'm still very proud of it. Tell Dr. Pearl that I say hi. Plato is famous for his idea of the forms, and I'm going to right now butcher an explanation of the forms. So think of anything that you'll find in the natural world. A duck, or a rose bush, or a pond, or a dog. In a philosophy class, the example is always a dog, and I just don't know why. Now there's a lot of ducks in the world, but they're all different, but they're all ducks. How is this possible? Outside of the genetics of the idea, which Plato had no clue about, Plato posed the idea that there was something part of their being that made them ducks, that they all kind of participated and that bound them all together. There was something involved in their duckness. And this he called the form of being a duck. Every duck that ever existed or ever will exist somehow participates and reflects in this duckness. But none of them does it perfectly. You will never find a perfect circle in the natural world. You will never find a perfect duck, or a perfect dog, or a perfect tree in the natural world. Every one of those things reflects their form imperfectly. Well, where is this perfect thing that they are reflecting? I guess heaven would be where those things are. Yeah, Plato believed in this transcendental idea of a thing that all physical things on earth would reflect with various degrees of success. After learning about this, students will usually start a conversation about whether or not artificial man-made things have a form. Like, is there a perfect chair? The example for this is almost always a chair for some reason. And was there a perfect chair in heaven before somebody made a chair here on earth? Or is that form of a chair somewhere within a form of a human? Philosophy professors will usually let this conversation happen for about 15 seconds. Frankly, there are more important things to talk about. But for some reason, I've been thinking about this question a little bit more recently. And I think there is such thing as a form to artificial man-made things. And really the only evidence I can give for this is the existence of exceptionally good performance art. Now, performance art, songs, plays, opera, poems you read out loud. The really, really good ones are so good that it is impossible to perform them perfectly. All performances of these things are reflections to various degrees of success, the perfection that might be found in this play or in this song. One example of this is West Side Story by Leonard Bernstein and Stephen Sondheim. There is no such thing as a perfect performance of West Side Story. It just doesn't exist. By the way, I played Bernardo in the high school production of West Side Story, and this is the sexy purple shirt that I wore to the dance at the gym, and I still call it sexy purple shirt. So other examples of this include like The Ring Cycle by Richard Wagner, a lot of Shakespeare plays, and Heroes by David Bowie. Now, I'm not the most educated person on David Bowie, and the first time I heard Heroes was in Moulin Rouge. But I do know it's an exceptional song, and every time I hear it, no matter who sings, it's just not enough. It's a stunning song, and David Bowie sings it beautifully, but he doesn't sing it perfectly. Every recording that he has of it, whether it's live, whether it's the album version or the music video, there's always something about it that makes me go, that could be better. Whether he loses my attention for a split second during the first couple verses, he makes some sort of vocal decision toward the end that not quite. It's always spectacular and it's always transcendent, but it's never perfect. One time I saw the Flaming Lips in concert and they covered David Bowie's Heroes. And it was cacophonous, triumphant, colorful, loud, and so good. And not clear enough, and not perfect enough. Because so long as I live, I will never hear a perfect version of Heroes by David Bowie. Because on Earth, there isn't one. The perfect one is somewhere up in heaven. May God rest your soul, David Bowie, forever and ever. I wish I could swim like the dolphins, like dolphins could swim.